Morning. I had a bit of a disaster this morning. I made a video of the River Deben, or the Deben estuary, which is north of Felixstowe on the Suffolk coast. And I used to know this quite well because my stepfather came from Felixstowe. We used to have days out to the Deben and the Orwell, which are in Constable country. Very lovely. But it went. Well, I tried to wet the paper 3 times, so that and let the water dry or soak into the paper, so that the surface was quite matte. It lost its shine, and it worked quite well. But I gave up in the end. The picture went from bad to worse. Also, little Freddie, the kitten, is at the vet's today. He's having his genitals interfered with in a masculine sort of way. So when he comes back, he'll be a slightly different cat. And that will suit the lovely tortoiseshell Elsa next door, who won't have to put up with too many amorous advances. Right, okay, well, I'm going to have a go at an impression of the Welsh mountains, or mountains anywhere really. So I'll wet the paper in the traditional way, wet and wet, all over, just once. But not so that it's soaking down here. My paints are still damp from previous effort. I deleted the video, I didn't. It just wasn't, it was okay, but it just wasn't good enough. I know we are our own worst critics, but it just wasn't going anywhere. So I'm going to make a much bolder statement. I was looking online at some pictures of the Welsh mountains, Snowdonia. Well, I think they're called the Cambrian Mountains, from bygone age, from prehistoric age, very old granite. And I'm just going to do an impression of mountains really. So whether we put some water in, I don't know. Oops. So I'm going to put in a warm sky. Well, not that. That's a bit insipid, that is. Bit of red. Get a sort of sky in. Bit of bit of nice or muddy blue there, and some clouds on the other side. Right, I'm going to put in a bit of sun catching the mountains. And a bit of shadow. Now we're going more traditional. That is to show the sun catching the mountain on the right hand side, and we'll have a different sort of just mixing all the greys and browns. great mountain painter of Wales was Catherine Williams, and he used a palette knife, which is my favourite way of painting, really, with oil. Watching the Great British Art Challenge yesterday, last night on BBC, which was very interesting. So what constitutes an amateur artist? Because a lot of amateur artists are every bit as good and better than so-called professionals. I suppose it's because you live by your painting as your job. It's a professional, wouldn't it? But there are lots of people who are very competent amateurs. Alright, let's get some harder stuff here. I'm not sure if that is as dark as brilliant as I would like on this, so let's just go back over that again while it's wet. We're just putting some shadows in. Okay, right, we'll put in some warm rocks coming down here. I'm practicing doing these as well, so this is all new for me. There could be a lot of modelling on this. Get the blues going. Okay, so right, I've got a cup of tea. I'll keep you posted on Freddie, of course. Probably tomorrow if I do a painting. Well, it's a cycling day tomorrow. And I might do a painting in the afternoon, in which case Freddie will be feeling much better. We couldn't give him any food this from last night, or from the evening, because of the anaesthetic. He might react and be sick after, so he was trying to eat the flowers in the vase this morning. Okay, so I'm just scraping off the tops of the rocky slopes here. just having fun with this really is what I didn't have with the last one. So here we'll put in just some bits of scree. Showing strata. And not a lot on here, a bit distant, well, quite a little bit on the top there. I'll put some trees and stuff on there. Painting with a card really, but it's very, very interesting, very similar to what I've done several times before, but it's easy, I like doing it, and as most or many of you are beginners, it's good for you to see how simple this can be. We're modelling these rocks, but not a lot of detail here, very, very faint here. Just the rocks catching the light here and there on that part. Now we've got to make this into, we've got to add some detail to it, make it into a painting with texture. So, bit of green, whoops. So we'll just put these grasses. Right, some sort of path along there. So let's put in some darker. So I'll put a couple of figures in. Oops, in this. I wasn't aware where my brush was going there. Right, now we want some nice trees. Let's put some in here. Just some nice, well, I hope it's nice. Just using the brown, or the burnt sienna, the ultramarine and the lemon yellow. Put in some scrubby growth of bushes and foliage. Remember the recession of all this, that you go from your warm colours, more detail in the foreground. Oh, it sounds obvious, but if you forget it, I mean, you don't have to, you can paint what you like. If you want to go version abstract, you can paint how you want, but if you're painting in the sort of a traditional sort of representational way, which I do, you need to get your blues. But here we've got the blue distance here, but we've got this light behind it catching the sunlight, giving an impression of, I hope, an impression of the sunlight. So let's just get all this down here. So there is some greenery coming up the other side. So I've got a nice green going there. So that's the burnt sienna, lemon yellow and ultramarine. We can just put that in there, get that heavier. I'll just flick out a few little bits. Okay, so now we want some nice hard greens, just here and there in the foreground, warm greens, just showing clumps of grass and gorse and whatever. Right, and then we'll put in some bluey trees now on this horizon. Oh, this probably got a bit busy here, but never mind. After the last one, it's quite a good painting. Right, the hake, for anybody that still doesn't really understand what I'm painting with, this is a 2-inch, or it's just a slightly less than 2-inch Chinese, I believe it's Chinese made, from soft pig bristle. And it's about 48 millimetres wide. It's near 2 inches, it's not quite 2 inches. But it does lovely things. Now this is only an impression of the hills, Welsh mountains. It's very lovely. Wales is a beautiful, beautiful country. So for those that are in America or elsewhere that think Wales is part of England, Wales is part of Wales. So it's a country in its own right that, without being patronising, seems to produce an inordinate amount of superb singers and poets and artists. Right, okay, so that's about it really. I'm going to I feel a bit Welsh sometimes, although my name is from Dublin, Irish Ushers. So let's get my figure brush, which is a worn out one of these. I'll just get that a bit of dry, take your headphones off. Oops, stop falling off my hair dryer. Maybe I need to lift out some path off there, so I'll do that. Well, let's just. Dry. Okay, so let's put in our little figures, trekking out for the day. Right, okay. Alright, I've got to put some shadows for these. Right, now I need to put in some edge to some of this here, this path. Right. Right, okay, I'll sign that and put a mount on it. Right, okay, so put that on it. Right, there we are. A Welsh mountain scene. I've tried to capture the light catching this mountain over here. A bit of light through the middle, and the cloud shadow on this part here. I hope that works. Let's have a look at it online. It looks quite good online. Or on the computer, so it's much brighter. Let's just go out a bit. Well, there we are. Right, now I'll zoom in and we'll go around the picture. There's my foreground. All very easy. But when you put the foreground colours on, you need them nice and strong, rich and warm for the foreground. Plenty of reds and burnt siennas and raw sienna in them. And as you come up into the distance, you can add your blues. Being a cool colour, looks more distant. It just gives an impression of distance. Now that is where you can really take a bit of artistic license, because it still looks distant because of the blue in front of it, and you know it's catching the light because I've said so. And I'll put the figures in, just leading you into the picture, and have your figures going in rather than coming out. Takes the viewer in, and I'll put a bit of shadow in. So there we are. I'm quite pleased with that. That'll do me for the morning. Gonna have some lunch now. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.